Okay, I will call the July 17th regular meeting of the Madison Fire District to order at 7 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Donaldson.
Here.
Mr. Lee. Mr. Sill.
Here.
Mr. Wayman.
Here.
Thank you. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, to start the meeting off, we have a guest, Mr. Peter Richmond, to review our property and casual insurance renewal. Would you like to speak to it?
I do. So for those who don't know me, which I think most of you do, our agency was made in 1964. Dad started it, and I've been doing this for over 35 years now. And we used to have a group that would take care of this, but as you can see, we're down to one. I'm the lucky guy. So our agency does appreciate allowing us to take care of the fire district, and we kind of feel that it's our way of giving back. We're fully staffed with 2 women and myself and an accountant. So I think Jessica can tell you that we're pretty much on top of it. He sends us an email, we're answering it. So with that, I'm going to go over quickly. You have a proposal in front of you. And if you want to just peruse that real quick, there, in the beginning, before we made changes to the auto policy, there was about a 6.7% increase overall. 3.5% of that was basically just rate. The insurance company had raised their rates by 3.5%. The rest of it was due to exposure, increase in building coverage, more calls for firefighters and EMP, more population, stuff like that can possibly cause the rate to go up for exposure. Inside, you'll see this spreadsheet, which basically we went over some changes to the values of the trucks and increased several of them. And that turned the increase into 11% total. So last year's premium was $51,031. This year's premium will be $56,752 with all those changes. The billings also went up by 4% automatically. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Zach Stewart, who is here representing the VFIS. He's here to answer any questions you may have.
Sorry, folks, we got on the roof again and lost the track time.
So he's on the roof.
Isn't that where the pool's at?
Good evening.
I was going to say.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me up. Just quick on us. So, our agency has started back in 1984. My father actually started, so we're second generation as well. And I think we've been insuring you guys pretty much since you formed. So we do appreciate the long-term, relationship we've had with you guys over the years. Jess and I and Peter went over all the coverages here a couple weeks ago, and we came up with some new agreed values the chief wanted to quote and then add based off the changing marketplace for vehicles. But real quick, I thought based off some questions Chief had, I'd kind of just do a high-level quick overview of our main coverages for you guys. I'm not going to go line by line or anything like that. I'm just going to hit it real quick just so you know you're fully protected. You really, as I told Chief on one of our calls, you can pretty much sleep good at night knowing we got you and there's no holes in your coverage. So on the proposal that Chief gave you guys, I'm going to start on your buildings, page 6. So as Peter mentioned, each year our station values do go up 4%. So that helps us keep in line with inflation. As it adjusts, we can kind of just stay a little bit ahead of it, hopefully. I know the last couple of years have been rough with inflation. But just from a coverage standpoint, just so you guys know, this station here, at renewal, will be insured just over $5.2 million. How our coverage works is not typical commercial insurance like replacement costs. So let's say, unfortunately, with all the tornadoes we get, a tornado comes through, wipes out your station, and it is $5,350,000 to replace the station. So just over $75,000 additional cost above the policy. We offer guaranteed replacement cost coverage. So what we're saying is we're going to pay that additional $75,000 minus your new $5,000 deductible. So we're pretty much saying we're always going to insure your building the current value. That does include code enforcements, all that kind of stuff. That's part of rebuilding your station. But code enforcement is always going to be 100% of the cost that we pay out. If it goes over that, unfortunately, for code enforcement, it may come out of your own pocket for that. But most of the time it doesn't. Your buildings are fairly new, so code enforcement shouldn't be a big deal for you guys. The contents are always going to be like what's in this room. It's never going to be your portable equipment that's in your trucks or in your bags. So you have a combined limit of your contents at $528,000. So that's a high-level property. Flood and earthquake automatically included, and there's no wind and hail deductible as of today. Any questions on your property?
This is accidental damage too?
No, this is just property and casualty. You're
That's
talking
what I mean,
about the
accidental
health
to
and
the building,
accidental,
yeah.
It's a whole separate policy, and that doesn't renew until February.
Okay.
What do you mean, like accident?
Accidental, like a truck backing into a
Yeah,
garage.
yeah.
or something.
I thought you meant.
I thought
like
that's, yeah.
The guy's getting hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, usually our number one claim on buildings, besides wind and hail, is the funnel backing into it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you leave a door open as you leave.
Right.
It's not the big, stuff you would think.
So we have a $5,000 deductible.
Yeah, and that, from going over with
Is
the
that what it
chief-
is now?
Yeah, it was $1,000 and we increased it to $5,000 because my question lately been, especially when you have building values as high as you guys do, if somebody did back into it and you had a $2,000 damage worth to the building, are you going to submit that to me or are you going to pay for it out of your own budget? And the chief was like, well, more than likely we'll probably pay that out of our own budget. So if that's your comment, then why carry a low deductible? Go ahead and go to a limit you're probably going to pay anyways out of pocket. So that's why a lot of, as the chief recommended, people are increasing their deductibles because anything lower, they're just going to take care of. But you also have high value stations as well, so your deductible should be a little bit higher.
Okay, thanks.
Make sense, everybody? Okay, like I said, I'm not going to dive into sub coverages, but there's a ton of other stuff there as well. Some good ones for your members. I'm going to skip over the crime because that's just monetary damage. Pretty easy there. Portable equipment on page 9. This looks kind of weird because we never ask for an inventory. We look at your apparatus. That tells us what type of equipment you're going to have. We always replace your equipment to the newest standard at the time of the loss. So it's not replacement cost coverage. Once again, that guaranteed replacement cost coverage. So it could be old for new or new for new at the time of the loss. So we use NFPA as our standard, just like the fire department does. Anything that comes out of your trucks is portable equipment. Anything that's mounted to them is part of the equipment, or part of the vehicle, sorry. Everybody okay there?
So anything that's on a rack in the vehicle
It's
is
got to be mounted.
part of the
The best
vehicle?
thing to think of in today's thing is the striker load systems, because those are physically mounted into the truck. So when you guys add those, I believe the new ones are about 60 grand. So if you guys do get those, always make sure you let Peter know, because we want to increase your ambulance value to capture that new equipment you've added to it, because it's physically mounted to it and you can't pick it up and carry it out of your truck.
Okay.
You have your cots, heart monitors, thermal imaging units, your Marks radios, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be portable equipment. So moving on, page 10 and one little line on page 11 of your new pumper there. This is where all the changes have occurred. And we also have new changes as well as part, Peter didn't mention, but we had 30 new enhancements to our policy, and most of them are on the auto. So I'll kind of go over that, and we can go through any of these questions on vehicle values. Top portion there, standard auto coverage. Our new coverage regarding your ambulances, now all of your squads will have rental reimbursement included if they're involved in an accident or something like that, and you guys get rental while it's down.
Is there a limit to that?
It's $400 a day for $300 a day for 40 days. Sorry, I always get those two numbers mixed up. So all of your vehicles now have rental reimbursement with us. Before on the squad, you had to buy that coverage. Yes, sir.
Question, and this probably to the chief. Can we rent an ambulance for $300 a day?
Haven't really looked into it. It seems a little low.
Can you
Knowing
rent
what
an
cars
ambulance?
for.
That's the bigger problem. Is not necessarily the cost to rent it, but if anybody hasn't.
Right.
Horton doesn't have any, PennCare doesn't have any. So really the problem's not finding out a cost for one, is if you can even find one. Most of the time you can rent one from a fellow department that has maybe a backup, and they typically charge about $100 a day because they know the insurance carrier will reimburse them. But that's usually the best luck fire and EMS departments have, is their neighboring, community departments.
We've done that in the past too, where we borrowed from Perry, and I can't remember if they borrowed from us, but I know we had one of their engines for a little while.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it anymore. Going to a manufacturer or somebody like that, you won't find any because they're waiting 3 years just to get new ones for their fire departments. Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. On your 21 or 18 vehicles with 3 trailers, our old threshold was 75% of the damage done to the vehicle. Anything under, we had to repair it, or you guys could take the check and the salvage and walk away. Anything over 75%, you get the listed amount on the policy. Our new coverages at renewal is we're dropping that 75% down to 60%. So we're giving you guys an additional 15% of the valuation of the truck at the time of an accident. So if you had a $100,000 truck, the old valuation was $75,000, the new valuation is $60,000. So we kind of flip insurance on its head. If you got an older vehicle, you want to take a $40,000 check and the salvage and walk away, you can. You're not required to repair it. Yes, sir.
Does it say anywhere in this document about this 60%?
Not in this one, because this is the condensed down version, but we can get you an extended version that has that language. Or, I don't know if Chief still has the document I forwarded to him. We have, I can show you, so we have this new property and casualty enhancements flyer. It is on there, so I believe Chief should have that. But that valuation is on there, where it says that. Yeah. But we have two different versions of this proposal. One is this like 17-page one, the other one's like 38 pages. And it's including that because we actually give examples of our agreed value valuation.
So which document are we going to?
This is a shorter version of it, so, but I can,
We can send you a digital copy.
yeah.
It should be in the drive. We can print those off too. Actually, that's a copy of it right
Have
there.
you got one?
Mr.
Right.
It's in-
Wayman. I
Oh,
think Mr. Wayman has it.
Oh,
It should be in the
yeah,
folder.
I got one.
this thick one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be, so if you go to the auto section, where all the schedule is for the autos, I believe it's the next page after that, or the second page after that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Yeah, but in this condensed version, they don't give a lot of the policy, sub-coverages and stuff like this. It's just, here's your limits, and we call it a day.
Okay, so I'm at the auto section. And where does it say 60%?
I don't mean to jump in here.
That's okay.
Somewhere on this page.
Okay, let me just, I can read through this and look for it. Chief,
Yes, sir.
are you asking us to approve this meeting?
It renews on 8/1, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we need
So,
it.
yeah.
Sets us up.
Should.
Yeah. I did send it out last week for review to Mr. Wayman and Mr. Donaldson. Yeah, it was one of those things that we've been talking about. He got us the final copy, and we did a couple of changes that were recommended, and yeah, that's where we're at with it.
Yeah, we kind of went back and forth on optional quotes, so that's what kind of
Yeah.
took a little bit of time to get all the numbers correct to come to this meeting prepared. So that's what this spreadsheet is. This was kind of the final,
Right.
here's where we're comfortable with all the vehicle
Okay,
values.
just run this 60% by me again. We have an ambulance, and it's totaled.
Yep.
And
So let's say the valuation just for pure numbers.
$350,000.
Well, now you need 60%.
He's gonna use 100,000.
So whatever 60% of that number is, anything below it, I always like using 100,000 because the math's real easy.
Right, I understand.
So anything under $60,000, if the vehicle is worth 100, anything under that 60, sorry, is that
210.
okay, 210 on the 350, right? So anything under 210, our first obligation is to repair the vehicle. But what we do differently is, let's say that was an older vehicle, it's a $200,000, we're just shy of the 60%, it's 190, right? You guys can take that $190,000 check plus the salvage, minus your deductible, and call it a day. You do not have to repair it.
Okay.
But anything over that 210, so let's say it's 225, then you get to list the amount on the policy, which in this scenario is 350.
350,
But then
okay.
we take the salvage, minus your deductible, call it a day, because we're
Okay.
bettering you to that 100%.
Okay, thank you much. I got, now understand it a lot better.
And with that new valuation, from what we see from a claims perspective, is that we should hit that valuation a lot easier, because before, a lot of them were coming in between about 65 and 70%, because really what it came down to was the frame. Because we can fix boxes and all that kind of stuff pretty easily, but it was always the frame that kind of kept us just shy of getting that 75. So 60 should be clear cut. If that frame's got any little bit of damage, it's probably going to be total.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
And you guys are lucky too, you have a newer fleet, so your valuations will hold more true because of that as well. And that was conversations the three of us had prior to this meeting. So with that spreadsheet, you can see, I try to make it easy, for everyone to see what we did. The expiring agreed value, and then we had the new agreed value, which, is pretty much close to cost new of some of these vehicles. And then I put what the difference in between the old and the new agreed value was, so you guys could see from a dollar perspective what we were doing.
Okay.
If there's no other questions there, just remember, if anybody responds in their POVs, we are covering them. I'm not going to dive into that, but coverage as they send the POV use. The last few coverages are just your liabilities. I know you guys probably don't need to hear that, but everything your fire department does from an emergency standpoint, fully protected. Everything you guys are doing as the board of directors for the fire district is fully protected. So just know liability-wise, you guys are ready to go and protected. I can dive in more than that if you want, but I'm sure you guys got other business.
Yep.
And you got your legal counsel. Did everybody see that new agreed value definition?
Yep.
Any questions, concerns, what ifs from an insurance perspective? Anything I can answer?
Any other questions for our guests or for the chief regarding insurance? I'm assuming our inventory our schedule is correct.
It's constantly fluctuating.
Right.
We added 2 ambulances and an engine last year, which obviously increased the value of the policy too, because they're brand new. And that $700,000 engine that Captain Sopko put together for us is now over $1.1 million to replace that. It's only been a year, so it's not real nice out there for replacement stuff. So we thought it would be good to protect our highest dollar assets without actually, getting killed with the premiums. That's kind of the view we took to present to you.
So I think that's pretty good, because it only went up, around 8,000 or something?
Right, and part of it was, and Zach, can you talk about the exposure risk, the population?
Yeah, so you guys, from our perspective, from a rate, you guys have been pretty steady at that 3%. So it's really hasn't gone up or down from a rating perspective. So that's good in my book. You're slow and steady like you've always been with us. So what changed pretty much this year was your exposure. I'm sorry, I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I believe it was like 2,100 or 2,200 in new population, 27 in new population. So anything outside of our control, so increased calls, switching from volunteer to part-time to career, that changes, exposure risk, and then of course population change, because you have more population, in theory you should have more calls, more exposure to contacts with your community. So that's, you guys were split between about a rate increase and about an exposure increase. And then what kind of took it up a little bit more was adding the new agreed value, dollar amount, because we took pretty much all of them up except 3 of them over 50,000. All of them are up over $50,000 in agreed value. And what's really killing a lot of our departments is most of that is going to be in the squads, because they're constantly on the road. Their exposure to being in an accident is much higher, and we're seeing those costs on new squads go up considerably as well right now. So it's more on the EMS side than necessarily the fire side. But yeah, rate-wise, well below where I expected you guys to come in at, and I didn't have to touch it, so I thought it was good there. But it was really your exposure that kind of took it up another pretty much double where you would have been, unfortunately.
Right. Well, we added $1 million vehicle too. Right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, thank you.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
You guys have a good night and stay safe.
You too,
out there.
thank you.
You're not going to stay?
Also.
Run.
Sometimes the less we know, the better.
Do you need me to stand up and take notes? All right.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you. Okay, we'll address the insurance business a little later in the meeting. Approval of minutes. Motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for May 15th and June 18th.
Yeah, that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, corrections?
I was in May, but I wasn't here in June,
Okay, you can
so
still.
I'll just abstain.
Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Abstain.
Mr. Sill?
Abstain.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Abstain,
Was that 3 abstentions?
3
Yeah,
and
you
3.
need 4.
3 and 3.
I wasn't
It
here
was
at that
4.
meeting.
Do you want
I
to?
think there was
If
three
we did them,
representatives.
if we did them separately, I think we could get it through.
Yeah, let's go separate. So let's correct that motion to just the May 15th meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, that motion.
got it.
Thank you. Thank you. Roll call for the May 15th regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Sill?
Abstain.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes,
Thank you. Motion to approve the June 18th regular meeting minutes.
Yeah, that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sill?
Abstain.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
abstain,
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Abstain.
Okay.
I wasn't here in June.
Did we have enough?
I wasn't here in
No.
June.
oh, you weren't
No,
here.
I was gonna say, that's what
I'm
we
sorry.
did
Well,
from the
three-
beginning.
Three's okay. And then the
don't
abstentions
know.
go with the majority.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Bills and payroll for June of 2024. A motion to approve the bills and payroll for $248,683.29.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the bills and payroll.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
And Ms. Clapp, any update? Or any comments?
The only thing that was extraordinary payment was we had the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation, which was $8,775, which you approved in May. And they're reimbursing us for that.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Abstain.
Mr. Sill?
Abstain.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes,
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Thank you. June financial report.
Okay.
Ms. Clapp.
So I'm reading from the fund summary. We started June with $6,466,338.14. Our month-to-date revenue was $145,831.71. Our year-to-date revenue is $2,874,220.88. Our month-to-date expenditures, again, was $248,683.29. Our year-to-date expenditures was $1,968,612.82. So we started July without our unencumbered balance of $6,363,486.56. And you'll notice that there is another adjusting factor, and that was for the OP and FF. They returned the deposit, and I had to resend it. I don't know what something in their banking end, and it's all electronic.
Okay.
And our interest for the month was $38,523.53. And that is because I moved most of our first half property tax to Star, Ohio, where we received more interest. And I transfer the money every payroll to cover it, so trying to make sure we get enough.
What's that interest, Robin, right now?
I can pull it up.
Curious.
Good, at the moment. So, current rates. Right now is at 4.53% overnight. Is the yield.
How much has that been fluctuating this year? No, about the same. Thank you.
All set? Any questions for Ms. Clapp? Motion to approve the 2024? No? Excellent. We'll have our opening portion public hearing, if anybody from the audience would like to speak or online regarding fire department business. Thank you. Ms. Dane, legal.
The only thing I have is we have a request for an executive session per ORC 121-22G1 to discuss personnel matters, specifically employment, discipline, and compensation of employees. Please?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any old business before this board? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Resolution 24-15. Ms. Dane?
Resolution number 24-15 is a resolution authorizing renewal of the district insurance plan for VFIS property and casualty insurance coverage as recommended for the upcoming insurance year and authorizing payments for said plan.
I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or questions for the chief or legal? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Sell?
Yes.
And chief's report.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman. July, I'll try to keep it light here. Everyone's had a busy summer. Celebrate anniversaries. Firefighter Greg Struby has been on for 2 years. He's here tonight somewhere. Firefighter Frank Marcelli's been on for 3 years. Lieutenant Dustin Sample has logged 24 years here at the Madison Fire District. And Winter Chicken Dinner, Captain Terry Sopko has 37 years so far and counting. Congrats.
Amen to
I think. Financial overview, Joanne gave a synopsis over there. So tax revenue collected, we have about 62%. And EMS revenue collected is a little over 64.2%, which is over the norm right now through June. Staffing overview continues to be fluid but stable. We have some overtime, we have some vacations, and a little bit of sick time going on, but it's fairly manageable. We interviewed and hired 3 more part-time staff that are starting to onboard right now as we speak to help fill some of those summer openings and so on. Call volume responded to. This little sheet here. Hang on. We had 293 calls for service in June, which we're on pace for about 3812, which I believe is almost about 100 more than last year, which is to be expected with the increases we have in population and all the construction going on. Fire inspections are ongoing. They're in your board folder for your viewing pleasure. Vehicles, our newest engine, 2133, which has been out for its warranty work. I know we've been talking about that a little bit, but I believe Captain Sopko received word today that it's ready to come back at some point, and they're just got to figure out a way to get it back up here for us. So that'll be a nice sight in the bay. 2122, which struck a deer on the morning of Memorial Day, is back in service. It's been back probably for about a month now, I think, or close to it. And it's fully repaired by CarStar. They did a great job, and it's haven't heard any complaints. So, and there was no actually additional costs that usually go into repairs. Usually there's supplemental stuff that's filed, but they had it right the first time, so good on them. Some of the building stuff, just ongoing general cleaning and maintenance. I know, Mr. Wayman, you were looking for the lines out there, so
They look
they're
good.
nice and bright
They
for you.
look good.
Some of the officer recommendations we've been talking about. The new ambulance you guys approved last month is on order now. I signed the contract, so now the wait begins, and it's 3 years from now if we're lucky. So don't hold your breath. SOP is currently getting updated and implemented as we go along here. And then training that's going on. We have some jet ski training going on. With the Coast Guard stuff and the water rescues we had, we're helping out the ODNR with some of the search stuff and kind of used it as an opportunity to get our people on the water. And so it was kind of a double win for us, and helped out those people too with the tragedy. And then driver training is on deck. We're supposed to do yearly VFIS driver training, and also they have a VFIS university which provides a lot of education for our department that we're going to start to tap here soon, so that we can just let our people know what the risks are and then keep educating them on so we can stay out of those claims, if you will, and keep our stuff in-house. Some other things, VFIS, you just approved that. I appreciate that and all your questions and all your help with that. The Joanne sent the Ohio Auditor training, was it last week or the week before? So I know the department, we're probably about 80 to 90% done with getting everybody through that little 7.5 minute training. Pretty harmless. So it goes pretty quick, and there's a document that goes with it that you sign. So I know we're all supposed to do it in the department, including the board as well. Yeah. Right now, the Lake County Mass Casualty Drill, MCI drill, is going on at Perry High School. I was there yesterday for the entire thing. We sent one person yesterday. I think we're going to send a couple tomorrow. Really good training that's put on by a lot of the police departments, mainly the Painesville City. A couple of their officers are leading that. And it's pretty interesting because in the Perry High School, there's a catwalk. So I got to perch up there and watch all the victims and how they reset everything and started it in the hallway. And as the contact team come through, rushing through the doors, making all kinds of noise and doing their thing, it was pretty impressive to see. So really good training that they put on every summer. So we're trying to get as many people as we can over there. But with vacations in the schedule, it's a little tough with, and it's summertime as well. So doing the best we can. We do have an update with the Cleveland U.S. Coast Guard Station. There's a meeting on Monday. They're starting with, obviously, the tragedy that happened. Things are starting to, thankfully, move in the right direction with coverages. So I think they're going to come out and have a Q&A with us, with the Lake Fire Departments. And I know they opened up the Ashtabula Station again. They're sending a staff over there, I believe, Friday through Monday, through Labor Day. So which is good because that was completely closed down as of the start of the summer. So that's going to be Monday. And then lastly, I know every year that the fire board typically has a meeting at Station 2. Is that something you would all like to entertain at some point by the end of the year? Or
Yeah.
Sure.
Do we want to do that in like September or something? Or
maybe when it's a little cooler.
do we do it in the garage?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Typically,
that's what we did before.
you guys can check out the new gym in its
Yeah,
entirety.
that's a good idea.
I don't know if I'm
So.
in September.
And that's all I have for my report. I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Lee.
Since you've got that note on a new ambulance, we're going to be getting it sometime in 2027.
That's correct.
Looking at your spreadsheet here, we've got a couple that are 2016. What in the past, right now, those ambulances are 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How long typically?
Pardon?
How long typically does an ambulance last?
Well, they'll have to last at least 3 more years for us.
Well, okay, I mean, the reason, what I'm asking is, and it's not something we should do today,
Yeah.
but maybe we should explore ordering another ambulance, which may be in 2028,
Correct.
which, is 4 years from now. I'm just looking at, we don't want to find ourselves with machines that are 10, 12 years old and should be replaced,
Right.
but it's going to be a long time waiting.
Right. We did discuss that because our newest ambulance, which is up here, Station 3, we were talking about maybe early next year getting in line for that one, depending on how the mileage was. And yeah, that's a great question, and it's definitely under consideration.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, those 2016s, those were the smaller ones, right? So, I mean, we're actually doing pretty good with those.
Yeah,
I
those
mean,
are a little
we're
over
probably pushing our limit now.
Yeah.
So I like Mr. Lee's idea. That's probably something we really need to look at, because we had said that when we got those, that
Right.
they're probably not going to last as long as what those, the normal size ones would have. It's just we got,
Right.
that good deal at that time, kind of 2-for-1 type deal.
Correct.
So we don't want to be behind the 8 ball.
I'd be happy to get another purchase order together here soon.
I'm
and,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
be, I'm willing to consider it.
Okay.
But another question, Chief.
Yeah.
So if you were to go ahead and get in the queue for another ambulance, what's the money that has to be paid, and when does it have to be paid? If we would do it early 2025, place the order, we might not get it till 2028.
Correct.
Do we put something down?
Right now, it used to be whereas we paid for the full amount when it was delivered to us. Now they're requiring a 25% down payment. So I believe the one we just purchased is somewhere in the $70,000 to $75,000 range that we're gonna come up with in probably February.
Okay.
And he said they'll be flexible, so whenever the final appropriations come out, we can figure out what's needed to be paid at that time and cut the check for that first squad.
Well, I'd like to echo what Mr. Adams just said. Yeah, let's look into it
Okay.
with the thought of possibly generating PO in early 2025.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, Chief?
That's all I have.
That's it. Any other questions for the chief? Okay, with that, we'll move on to our closing public portion. If anybody from the audience or online would like to speak about fire district business. Okay, hearing none. Closing board comments. Anybody have anything they would like to address the board?
Yeah. I would like to welcome
Mr.
Mr. Sill
Yes.
to the board and to the Madison Township trustees. We were raised together here, so we've been around a long time. So this is a nice little surprise when I seen that. So welcome aboard, and like I said, I asked in a year how it's going. So just like they asked me. So, but welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'd like to echo that also, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's only 45 minutes a month, so.
Right.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
That's not what I was told.
As we go into executive session. Any other closing comments from the board? Okay, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session. Do you want to read it, Ms. Stain? Sorry.
Per ORC 121-22 G1 for personnel, specifically employment, discipline, compensation of employees.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
All motion?
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Second, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Gautner? I'm sorry. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Sill?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Thank you, 7:41. And I don't believe we'll
Should
have,
I end the stream for the evening, or should I leave it in executive session because you'll return?
I don't think we're
We
going to have
have
any
to
business.
return to adjourn, so.
Right, so, okay. But I don't think we're going to have any business.
I can leave it on, it's fine, I don't want to stay.
Okay, thank you. We are coming out of executive session at 8:40. Any further business before this board? No. And a motion to adjourn, please.
Yeah, that motion.
1 and 2.
Yep, 1, 2.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Sill.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.